to the final vlog of the Vietnam series. We are now on our way to Hanoi and we are flying via Vietnam Airlines. They had a really cute way of showing us the onboarding instructions through a unique video format with a sign language interpreter as well, which is super inclusive of them to do. So I really want you to listen to this now.
An toàn trong suốt chuyến bay. Dây an toàn của quý khách được cài và mở như sau. Siết chặt bằng cách kéo một đầu dây và mở bằng cách nhấc đầu khóa. Tiếp viên chúng tôi sẽ cung cấp dây an toàn cho trẻ em và dây an toàn nối dài cho quý khách trong trường hợp cần thiết.
For your own safety, we recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout.
It was a late evening flight and we reached Hanoi in about an hour or so and checked into our hotel and called it a night. Next morning, we checked out and moved to another hotel. We first reached the Temple of Literature, and this is one of the temples that was dedicated to Confucius. You will find this featured on a 100k Vietnam dong note as well. Now let's see what I had to say then. Completely tanned, but still closed there. Last few days of our trip. Today is kind of like a light day. We don't have much planned to do because yesterday was really heavy and hectic with just the amusement park, going to Marble Mountains, etc. So we're trying to figure out how to get to the cruise tomorrow. We then went to Old Quarters to make our cruise bookings. There are multiple vendors you can get a quote from, but go to the person who gives you the best deal. For us, it's this one at Timeline Travel, and the person here was really sweet. We then walked around for a bit, and since it was Friday, there was a concert going on around the King Lake and we found a Domino's nearby. So we quickly decided to have pizza there for dinner and decided to skip the concert. And then from there, we walked to the most famous train street. It's a tiny, narrow street hidden in one of the back streets of Hanoi and surrounded by high, narrow houses packed very closely together. The reason why it's so interesting for tourists is that the train passes literally a meter away from their houses. The safety line is already marked with a yellow color and which is only about 20 centimeters away from their homes. And that's the line that nobody should cross when the train is coming, of course. You need to check with the locals there on the train timings the day you arrive so you can see the train passing through. It's also very intriguing to see how all of these houses have converted into a business model and they run cafes. So people are able to visit this spot at their own comfort and they're also making a lot of money along the way. After this, we had the most famous egg coffee here, but I forgot to vlog it and called it a night. Next day, we woke up and got ready to go for the Halong Bay cruise. We were picked up in a bus from Old Quarters and it was roughly a 2-hour journey to Halong Bay, which is a little away from the city of Hanoi. Our tour guide explained to us a lot more about the history of Halong Bay and this cruise and why it is so prominent. But the ride to Halong Bay as well was so beautiful and the views outside was just so spectacular. It was a perfect day. We are now here at the entrance and we followed our tour guide and a group of 35 people who will be accompanying us on the cruise. We booked the sunlight cruise so there were minimal people on it and also for us to have fun and get good pictures as well along the way. This was the lower deck which had like tables where the food will be served and then there's of course an upper deck for people to just enjoy the view and soak in the sun. Just look at this view behind me. It's the best and if you come to Vietnam, this place is a must visit. My heart is so full to just see this beautiful sight right before me and it can't get better than this. Within the Halong Bay day cruise, there are multiple pit stops through the day that you can take and activities we could indulge in. Like the first one was Hiang Kang Cave. I hope I'm getting that right. According to the legend, this cave was the ancient residence of the Dragon King and his beautiful bride May. They had this spectacular wedding at the heart of this cave, attended by gods, genies, fairies, and dragons. They raised 100 children, and when their kids grew up, May took half of them to explore new areas of Vietnam, creating new villages, while the Dragon King and the other half of the children stayed in Halong Bay and continued to be its guardians and rulers. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Soon after this, we had the option of either going kayaking or sit on a boat ride. So I decided to go on the boat ride around the islands and look at this place basked in the beauty of this paradise. After this, we stopped at the beach to chill for a while and just watch the sunset from here. Oh my goodness, the view was so good. It was so magnificent. Just look at the sun. We then got back to the cruise for the sunset party, and this is going to be a spectacular view. It was so beautiful. Just look at this. Went back in our bus and got down at Old Quarters to have dinner and drove back to our hotel. We packed up and then checked out from there and took a cab to the airport to fly back to India. We reached the airport and had to wait there for about like 2 to 3 hours, but our flight was massively delayed. But that was still fine because I watched the sunrise from up high here. Reached Bangalore safely, and that brings me to the end of the Vietnam series. Thank you so much for watching. Drop down a comment below if you watched all the 4 videos so far.